Greetings, friends, and welcome back to Enigma Night Gaming. I am Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventures. Today, we will be back with Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. So, the last couple of episodes, we were introduced to this game, and we did Case 1, the cold-hearted aristocrat. So, in this game, we are playing Tyrion Cuthbert, and he's a young lawyer. I think he's 19, 20, something like that. And he is an attorney who is trying to defend wizards who have been unjustly accused of crimes that they didn't commit. At least that's what happened in the first case. So, in our first case, Celeste was a wizard. Who kind of discovered her powers, I guess, later in life, or maybe she knew and just never revealed it to her adopted family. Either way, she was accused of a crime, but it was actually one of the aristocratic family members who did the crime. And so we had to uncover that case and reveal the injustice. And we kind of got a hint that the prosecutor of the case maybe is not corrupt like the entire rest of the system. Maybe. We'll see how it goes in Case 2, which is what we will be starting today, which is The Walking Dead. So let's go ahead and hop in and see what this is about. Alright. Let's see what we got. Let me go. I'm not going anywhere until I see her. I'm sorry, Wallace, but she's already passed. There was nothing more they could have done. How? This academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom. Are you telling me that they couldn't do anything? Her condition was much worse than we thought. The kingdom's magic isn't advanced enough to treat something like this. Lucio Stillwind can rain meteors from the sky. William Frege can teleport entire caravans across the continent. Are you telling me that your mages couldn't cure one disease? I'm sorry. I truly am. Emily. Okay, so interesting. I guess Emily died of some kind of disease, and he felt sure. What was his name, Wallace? Alright, I'm sorry, Celeste. There's no way out of this. This was the girl that we acquitted in the last case, Celeste McCoy. Celeste's attention is sharply focused on the chessboard between you two. You can see her eyes quickly dart from piece to piece. Just give me a second. I can still win this. Celeste, there's no way for you to avoid checkmate next turn. Just surrender. She ignores you and continues staring at the pieces. There, what about that? Checkmate. Dang it! Would you two keep it down? We are in a library. So Ruby Tamora is Tyrion's mother, although he just calls her his mentor. I guess they're kind of keeping the relationship on the down low. Miss Tamora glances at the chessboard. I hope you didn't spend the entire morning playing around. I've been working hard, Ruby. I've already learned 2 new spell formulas since we got here. Well, at least there's that. What about you, Cuthbert? Well, your flustered stammering tells her exactly how much progress you've made. She's mad. I couldn't find any books about the subject we've been looking into. You've spent the entire day combing through the kingdom's imperial library researching the Eye of Horus. During Celeste's trial, you awaken to a new ability that you've never used before. Up until then, you thought that the eye could only see surface-level thoughts. But during that moment with Garrick Pierce, so Garrick Pierce was the actual murderer in Case 1, the Eye of Horus was empowered, and you could see far more than usual. You told Miss Tamora about what happened, and it made you both wonder what other hidden abilities the eye might have. You both decided it's time to find out more about the eye and its origins. This library supposedly held the kingdom's entire knowledge of magic and the arcane arts, but you couldn't find a single mention of any ability like the eye. Does the kingdom seriously lack knowledge about it? Or do we need to look somewhere else? Are you sure you can't tell me what you're researching? I've traveled around the world. I might have seen something like it. You entertain the thought for a moment, but you haven't known her very long. The Eye of Horus is a supernatural ability that can't be detected by a spell compendium. You've always been wary about what the kingdom might do to you if they ever found out about it. Sorry, it's not something I can really talk about. Fine. If I had to guess, I would say that they are looking into supernatural phenomena. Ah! Alright, so is that... I think that's the embarrassment or shocked emotion. You and Celeste nearly jump out of your chairs. Or surprise, perhaps? You look over to where the voice came from. She appears to be a student at the academy. How long was she there? You didn't notice her presence at all. You also feel like she looks oddly familiar. I'm terribly sorry if I startled you, but I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. As the girl approaches your table, you see another student frantically running after her. Eris, you can't just... I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine, Wallace. I'm sorry, but who are you two? Sorry, that was incredibly rude of me. My name is Eris Ilmater. Okay? And this is Wallace Nightgrave. We're both students here. Hi. Alright, Wallace Nightgrave. Not to be rude, but that was a private conversation. Just how much did you hear? I wonder. Reading about the supernatural is actually a hobby of mine. I might be able to help you with your research, Mr. Cuthbert. And what makes you sure that is what we were researching? Mr. Cuthbert has a bad habit of muttering to himself when he thinks. I assumed that his research had something to do with the supernatural. You feel a piercing side glance from Miss Tamara. She's given you that side eye. You avoid eye contact with her. But anyway, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Of course, I'd be happy to help. Wait, fine, I suppose it wouldn't hurt. Just remember to show some discretion, Tyrion. Also, that graphical glitch was weird. Right. Alright, so... I guess let's talk to her. Eris and Wallace, tell us about yourselves. So, you two are students at the Imperial Academy. Yes, I'm currently studying illusion magic. Okay, so she's got illusion. Illusions, that's the kind of magic that lets you turn invisible, right? Technically, yes, but few mages ever reach a level high enough for that. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit that I'm not able to cast invisibility. That's still pretty cool. What about you, Wallace? Wallace has his own unique field of study. I don't know if we're supposed to see that yet, but it's probably not your place to pry. Alright. Everyone is talking about you two. Everyone? How do they even know about us? Tyrion and Celeste? Really? It's rare for the school to let any outsiders in. And that makes sense. This library isn't exactly open to the public. Okay, so that's how they know. You were only able to get access to it because of Miss Tamora's connections. We only ever get occasional visits from the noble houses, so I was curious as to who was able to break this dull monotony. Well, I'm a mercenary, but now I work as Tyrion's bodyguard. Mercenary? After her trial, it turned out that Celeste was more capable of affording your services. However, Miss Tamora still proposed a different arrangement. After indicting Garrick Pierce, you painted a large target on your back. With Celeste being a mercenary, Miss Tamora decided to hire her as your bodyguard. She figured you would feel more comfortable around someone you were already friends with. Anyways, I'm a defense attorney. Defense attorney? My apologies. It's just not what I was expecting. What's that supposed to mean? Alright, supernatural phenomena. Supernatural phenomena. I wonder why you would be researching such a thing. Yeah, I want to know too. Miss Tamora's man. I'm sorry, but I can't really say. Regardless, there are many spells in this world. So why are you so convinced that this phenomenon wasn't produced by a spell? What we're looking into doesn't seem to follow the classic rules of magic. Oh, how so? Please tell me. It was created by someone who's not a mage. Oh, really? So you're saying that this was created by a person? She's like, stop talking now. The words came out of your mouth before you realized it. You send a small apologetic look to Miss Demora. That does remind me of a story. Story? Mr. Cuthbert, do you know the legend about how the kingdom of Wyverngard was created? You mean the story about the ancient dragons? The ancient what? Alright, so let's hear about the ancient dragons. So Wyverngard has a story about ancient dragons? It's only about one ancient dragon. The Church of Bahamut refers to him as the Scaled Lord. I'm sure you've even heard people mention him before. Legends say that the first mages were created centuries ago by him. At that time, our kingdom was caught in the middle of a brutal war. With no way to defend themselves, the kingdom was on the brink of destruction. Our people prayed to Bahamut, the god of dragons, for salvation. And almost as if to answer their prayers, Rathelion, the last Scaled Lord, appeared before them. The Scaled Lord bestowed the gift of magic on a band of heroes who were fighting on the front lines. With their magic, these heroes utterly overtook the kingdom's enemies and single-handedly won the war. It's said that these heroes went on to form the noble houses of today. Humph, what a load of nonsense. That story is nothing but religious propaganda to prop up the noble houses. Regardless, the significance of this legend is the Scaled Lord himself. Do you mean Rathelion? Rathelion bestowed the power to become a mage on several individuals, and to this day, that power can only be passed down genetically. Can you think of an arcane spell that can produce something like that? No, I suppose not. Rathelion must have had powers that weren't bound by the rules of the arcane arts. In other words, he could create supernatural phenomena without following the rules of magic. Please, do you honestly expect us to believe a story like that? It's completely unrealistic. As unrealistic as a non-mage using supernatural powers? She has a point. It's a far-fetched theory, but it's honestly the closest thing you've had to a lead right now. Of course, it would be you lot making all of this noise. Suddenly, a woman who appears to be an instructor approaches you. She doesn't look very nice. She looks upon each of you with an equal amount of disdain. Professor Bellwether. Alright, Catherine Bellwether? That is Professor Bellwether to you. But didn't he just call you... I knew letting you rabble into our walls would lead to nothing but trouble. Yeah, he did just call you Professor Bellwether. You've even started associating with our malcontents. Uh-oh. The headmaster gave us express permission to be here. If you have an issue with that, take it up with him. I'll have you know that I was on my way to do just that. Wallace? Yes? Oh. How am I supposed to understand you when you're stuttering? Yes, Professor Bellwether. Straighten out your uniform and fix that awful hair. You look like a street urchin. But I suppose it's unreasonable to expect anything more. Oh, that wasn't very nice. Okay, that was weird. I wonder why it does that. Like, is that a bug? It said, and as for you, I'll be on my way. Maybe that's weird. I don't know. What a pain. Celeste! Oh, come on. We're all thinking it. Anyways, with that out of the way, shall we begin? What? Why do you keep detecting fear? Oh, okay, it's fear. Okay, from Celeste. Wallace, you've finished this week's assignment, haven't you? Would you mind helping Celeste with her research? I don't know. Now that you mention it, I could really use some help finding a specific spell formula. You know your way around here, right, Wallace? Uh, um... So he's scared and happy. Maybe he likes her? Don't worry, Miss Tamora. I'll be more careful from now on. Please do. I still have some business to take care of here, so I'll leave you all to it. You spend the next few hours searching through the library's books with Eris. You hadn't thought to look into the ancient dragons, and the library had books about them in abundance. There was one problem, though. There are lots of myths and stories about the ancient dragons, but it's pretty difficult to tell fact from fiction with these accounts. It can't be helped. The Church of Bahamut is the dominant religion of our kingdom. The only physical evidence left by the dragons are the bones displayed in museums. Except for Rathalion, possibly. I wonder if he's still alive, like you said. I wouldn't be surprised. Despite everything, our kingdom's constitution still includes him in our government. Wait, really? As the savior of our kingdom, he and his kin were given an honorary position on our political hierarchy. The ancient dragon's authority. But Miss Tamura said she was going to do something on campus. Uh, I'm terribly sorry. You suddenly hear a disembodied voice echo through the library. It sounds like it's being projected magically. It's the headmaster. He's using the intercom system. Students and faculty, please remain calm. There's been a murder on Academy grounds. What? Please stay where you are and wait for law enforcement to arrive. Dang it, we have to get out of here. I'm afraid that's not possible. The lockdown system protects and locks each room. We can't leave this room until it's deactivated. Well, we won't know until we try. You run to the entrance and begin frantically pulling on the door's handle. You try to put all your strength into prying it open, but it doesn't even budge. Tyrion, stop! But Miss Tamura, I know you're worried about her, but there's already been a murder. We don't know where the attacker is or if they're still armed. The best thing we can do right now is stay here and wait. Oh man, that's a really mad face. She's right. Dang it. Uh-oh. I've never seen her look that mad. Celeste's hand rests on her sword. Her eyes are carefully watching the entrance. Wow, we've been here for hours and she still hasn't stopped watching the door. She was also able to calm me down earlier. It's easy to forget sometimes, but she's always reliable when it really counts. What? Students and faculty, thank you for your patience. Law enforcement has secured the building. The lockdown has been lifted. However, please remain in the building until... The headmaster is barely finished with his message before you're out the door. Tyrion! Hey, don't go off on your own. You desperately run through the academy hallways. No. Miss Tamura? Miss Tamura, where are you? You have no idea where you're even going anymore. You can feel your fear and anxiety rise with each passing moment. Where is she? Cuthbert! What's wrong? Why are you shouting? Miss Tamura, calm down. You're hyperventilating. I heard there was a murder, and I've been looking all over for you. And you were worried about me? You hug Miss Tamura tightly as you're overcome with emotion. She's usually not receptive to affection, but you don't care. You're just relieved that she's safe. Tyrion, there you are! And you're crying. Sorry, I didn't mean to worry you so much. We heard the announcement. Do you know what happened, Ruby? I do, but... You see, Miss Tamura glanced at Wallace for a brief moment. For now, I think we should head to the foyer. Okay, so we're at the foyer. You arrive at the foyer and see the room swarmed with a legion of familiar knights. Is that the Inquisition? Don't tell me. The headmaster mentioned that there was a murder on campus. Someone used magic. Hey, you there! As you enter the foyer, Commander White notices you and begins marching in your direction. But his attention isn't focused on you. Uh-huh? Are you Wallace Nightgrave? Yes, but... By the authority of the Wyverngard Crown, I'm placing you under arrest. Hey, what are you doing? You three. What are you doing here? You said he was under arrest? On what charges? This kid was charged with the murder of Catherine Bellwether. What? Wasn't that the professor you met in the library earlier? Right, like you're going to arrest him. He was with us in the library for the entire morning. There's no way he could have murdered her. Move aside, Celeste. But... Miss Tamura is right. If Wallace is a suspect, we can't stop the Inquisition from arresting him. No. Don't worry, Wallace. We'll get to the bottom of what happened. Without a word, Wallace allows the Inquisition to drag him away. My apologies. I'm going to go and check on him. But this is terrible. I still don't understand. Why would they suspect Wallace of all people? I'm not sure myself. Unlike most magical homicides, this school is filled with plenty of mages. There has to be a long list of suspects. Isn't there anything we can do? I'm going to go investigate what happened. Cuthbert. Yes? He hasn't accepted you as his attorney yet. You don't even know if you'll be working this case. But I know that he's innocent. I just can't sit here and do nothing. Well, I clearly can't stop you. But please remember that being an attorney is your job. It's not charity work. Don't come crying to me if you run out of gold. Right. Anyways, I still have some business to take care of in this city. Will you two be okay handling this yourselves? Yes, we can handle this. Good. I'll leave everything to you then. Alright, let's go, Celeste. Right. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and save. Oop. This one. There we go. Alright. It's been a few hours since Wallace was arrested. You and Celeste were with him during the lockdown, so the Inquisition had to take your statements. But the more they questioned you, the more you could tell that they had doubts about your testimony. You will need to do more if you want to establish an alibi for Wallace. That took longer than I expected. We've already lost a lot of time talking to the Inquisition. But we should be free to roam around now. Where should we go first? The crime scene sounds like a good start. We still need to figure out what actually happened. Ruby said that the body was found in Lecture Hall 2B. It's in the west wing of the school. Alright, that seems like a good place to start. Alright, let's see if she has anything to say about the investigation so far. I hope Wallace is okay. He looked really scared when Commander White arrested him. Don't worry, we'll find out what really happened. But first, you need to inspect that crime scene. Alright, let's go ahead and move to the classroom. And let's see what happens here. Hey, stop right there. As you try to enter the classroom, you're stopped by one of the Inquisition Knights. I'm the defense attorney for the accused. We have a right to investigate the crime scene. Yeah? From what I've heard, the kid doesn't have an attorney yet. Right. You haven't been able to talk to Wallace about that yet. It's quite alright. Let them in. Okay, so this is the prosecutor from the first case, and she knows that the system is corrupt, and she's not okay with it. So I think she's trying to do a fair job of prosecuting. So she's trying to, I think she's trying to come at it from the same place that Tyrion is, but he's a defense lawyer and she's a prosecutor, so. Lady Steelwind, do not call me that. While you work under me, you will address me as Prosecutor Steelwind. Yes, Prosecutor Steelwind. Alright. What is that smell? As you enter the classroom, you find yourself inhaling a sour and rancid odor. The stench is so overwhelming that your eyes begin to tear up. Don't worry, you eventually get used to the smell. What are you even doing here, Steelwind? I'm here to coordinate the investigation. You look around the crime scene. There isn't a single Inquisition Knight in the room. Isn't that the Inquisition's job? Due to the circumstances, I've decided to handle this case personally. Well, since we've got you here, could we ask you some questions about what happened? Can I assume that you're planning to defend this case? That would make you my opponent. What do I have to gain from helping you? Right. However, I would be willing to answer your questions, but only if you answer some of mine as well. Oh, okay. What could she possibly want to ask you? Okay, so I kind of want to examine the room. Oh, Tyrion, I almost forgot. Since this is our first official case together, I wanted to show you something that I learned. Okay, what is it?
Repario Arcanum.
Okay. Well, what was that? That is the incantation for the Detect Magic spell. Detect Magic? Wait, does that mean... Yep, we can see magical traces while we're examining crime scenes now. Nice. Alright, Detect Magic. Your bodyguard Celeste can now cast the Detect Magic spell. While examining a location, press the Detect Magic button to make magical traces visible. If there are any magical traces at your location, you'll see a colored overlay. Alright. Nice. Alright, well first, let's look at the body. I can't believe the professor is dead. We just saw her this morning. There's a chalk outline around where her body was. It appears that most of this blood came from her abdomen. Is that where the fatal wound was? There's a lot of blood in this puddle, but there's no trail leading to it. And there aren't any magical traces anywhere else in the room. I doubt the murderer used magic to clean it. Does that mean the murderer attacked her in this room? Maybe, but it's hard to say for certain. Alright, so there is a pool of blood where Catherine Bellwether's body was. The location implies that she bled from her abdominal area. Alright, what's over here? The lecture hall has a window with a view. I feel like I'd just stare outside all day if I had to attend class here. You're not much of a student, are you? Ugh, I just can't spend hours sitting in one place. I need to move around. She was pretty antsy while you were studying in the library earlier. How have you learned so many spells if you're so distractible? I don't know. I just learned the spell formula and cast stuff. I see. Is that not normal? Alright, we've done that. Now let's examine this painting. This must be... Oh, we're examining the seats. This must be where the students sit during lectures. Ugh, I can't imagine sitting in one place all day. Have you never attended a school before? No, we never had a proper school in Cornhaven. I mainly got my education from books that my parents bought from traveling merchants. What about you? I used to attend a public school in my hometown, but after Miss Tamora adopted me, she handled my education personally. Okay, so maybe it's not his biological mother, but maybe it's just his adopted mother. I don't know. Alright, it's a painting of some sort of musician. There's some text written below it. Dr. Nicholas Gausu, inventor of the Arcane Engine. What's the Arcane Engine? His work revolutionized trade and travel across the seas. He was well known for not discriminating between the common folk and the nobility, judging his assistants based purely on their merit. Well, that's not like this system. When he wasn't conducting research within the Imperial Academy, he was known to compose symphonies for the king in his free time. Looks like he was a man of many talents. Alright, so we got all that. Books here? Oh, they have books here too. They appear to be textbooks about alchemy. Aw, lame. Why did it just all of a sudden start doing that? Did I accidentally do that? Let's see. I didn't want to... Okay. I guess? Wait, let's see. I want to make sure I didn't Oh, I toggled on autoplay. Okay, I see. I didn't want autoplay on. Now I know what it is. Alright. I think that's all the normal stuff. Let's detect magic.
Repario Arcanum.
Uh-huh. Okay. What? What's wrong? There's a trace of necromancy on the body. Necromancy? Isn't necromancy the type of magic that creates undead? She's not gonna just get up and walk away, right? We're honestly not sure. That's part of the reason why I've stationed myself here. What does that have to do with Wallace? Oh, you didn't know? Wallace Nightgrave is a necromancer. He's a what? We believe that he used a necromancy spell to completely drain her life force. That's why there are no visible wounds. Here's the autopsy report. It will tell you everything you need to know. Alright, so it says that she died at 2:01 p.m. Body shows no signs of cuts or bruising. The alchemist report has verified that death was not caused by poison or disease. Body shows traces of necromancy and illusion magic. Cause of death is not apparent, but very likely caused by necromancy magic. But in the modern day, even the Inquisition doesn't commonly deal with necromancy. They're all on edge about what other spells he might have used. So, I'm here to make sure that nothing unholy happens to the body. You can't believe it. You've heard stories of necromancers before. But why would Wallace be studying something like that? Even if Wallace is a necromancer, aren't there plenty of other mages who can cast necromancy spells? This is an academy for mages, after all. No, there are no laws against it, but the knowledge required to learn necromancy is heavily controlled. No one in their right mind would dare teach necromancy beyond basic healing magic. Frankly, I'm surprised even one student at this school was allowed to learn it. I can see why. But because of this specific piece of evidence, we know that he's the murderer. But it's still too convenient, is what she's thinking. So these are her thoughts. That's the first time you've seen a thought from Steelwind. Normally, you can only see thoughts from people who are stressed or excited. You doubt that Miss Steelwind is excited, so something must be causing her to be stressed. Is there something you're not telling us, Steelwind? Because something tells me that this case isn't as straightforward as you claim it is. If you truly believe that, then why don't you prove it? Yeah, I can't see any more thoughts from her. She must be subconsciously guarding her mind now. But she's clearly hiding something. Alright, now let's check out this. Is that the illusion magic? Yes, there's a trace of illusion magic next to the body. We believe that the suspect donned an illusory disguise immediately after murdering the victim. Using his disguise, he discreetly made his way back to the library unnoticed. Assuming that Wallace isn't the murderer, the real killer must have used a similar disguise. Which means that no one would have seen them leave this classroom. It'll be harder to find any witnesses that saw the perpetrator. Alright. Now let's see. Questions for us. Miss McCoy, it's my understanding that you were adopted. Would you happen to know who your birth parents are? Hey, isn't that too personal of a question? You agreed to answer my questions, didn't you? But I didn't think you meant... It's fine, Tyrion. I'm fine with answering if it helps Wallace. I don't know who my birth parents are. I've never tried looking for them. I see. If I recall correctly, your spell compendium only contained one spell. Considering your upbringing, how did you learn Mage Blade in the first place? I bought a scroll from a merchant a few years ago. It had Mage Blade spell formula on it. But I know more than one spell now. I actually just learned a few new spells today. I'm sorry, spells? As in plural? How long did it take you to learn these spells? A few hours, I think. She learned multiple spell formulas within a few hours? What was that just now? I see. Well, I think that's all I need to ask for now. Okay. She's sharing information about the investigation for that? Why is she so interested in Celeste all of a sudden? Alright, let's ask about this rancid smell. I can't take it anymore. That smell is driving me crazy. What is that? From what I understand, there was a bit of an accident a few days ago. It happened during one of the classes that the headmaster was teaching. He misread the instructions for an alchemy experiment, and as a result, he accidentally produced this rancid-smelling vapor. Vapor? It's not poisonous, is it? Of course not. I wouldn't be standing here if it were. It's just extremely unpleasant to the senses. Alright, so weeks ago, the headmaster performed an alchemy experiment incorrectly in Lecture Hall 2B. The resulting chemical reaction produced a rancid yet harmless vapor that still lingers in the room. Alright, and the murder. Do you know what happened in here, Steelwind? Well, it all began when the City Watch received a call from the Academy. Supposedly, there was an attack on campus grounds and the entire building was put on lockdown. The City Watch set up a perimeter around the building while they waited for the system to deactivate. What? Couldn't the Academy have let them in once the scene was secure? I'm not sure about the specifics, but supposedly the lockdown can't be shut down manually. You'll have to ask one of the Academy's admins if you want to know more. Anyways, you two were also present during the lockdown, am I correct? Did either of you see anything suspicious? No, but we actually met the professor that morning. She was still alive then. I see. That does match with the accounts from our other witnesses. Do you have any idea where she went after she left the library? The headmaster gave us express permission to be here. If you have an issue with that, then take it up with him. I'll have you know that I was on my way to do just that. She said that she was going to meet with the headmaster. He also mentioned that when I questioned him. She attended the meeting as planned. If the headmaster met with Bellwether, you'll probably want to speak with him next. She must have found her way into this classroom afterward. Would you happen to have a map of the Academy? I do. I have extra copies if you'd like one. What is it? There's only one direct path from the headmaster's office to this lecture hall. But I wonder if she took any detours. Alright, so we've got the Imperial Academy map. It displays the general area where Catherine Bellwether was seen that day. Alright, so how was the body discovered? Do you know how the body was discovered? As two members of the kitchen staff spotted her collapse inside this classroom. They reported the situation to the campus admin while they attempted to save her life. But it was too late. The professor had already passed away by the time any healers arrived. Those two staff members, who were they? I believe their names were Valentina and Valerie Ionis. They're apparently sisters, because that's got to be a capital I, right? Orem was the one who collected their statements. Did he notice anything off about their behavior? From what he said, they had a few quirks, but nothing too suspicious. Quirks. He told me that they were running and spinning around him during questioning. What does that mean? I have no idea. Perhaps they were still on edge after finding their co-worker murdered. You'll definitely want to speak with those staff members. Alright, so the body was discovered in Lecture Hall 2B by Valentina and Valerie Ionis, two members of the kitchen staff. According to Commander Orem White, they were being hyperactive during questioning. Interesting. Were they exposed to some kind of poison or something, and maybe that's what actually killed the professor, and it's covered over by this alchemy experiment? I don't know. Why is Wallace a suspect? I imagine because he's the only necromancer, right? We've already told the Inquisition this, but Wallace was with us the entire time. He couldn't have committed the murder. Yeah, he has the perfect alibi. Strong, maybe, but his alibi is far from perfect. Miss McCoy herself told us that. There was a small time period when she wasn't with him. What? Right. It was when I came to check on you after you knocked over that shelf. I got a little lost on my way back to Wallace. But still, we've only lost each other for a few minutes. That may be, but unless his alibi is airtight, the evidence in this room proves that it was him. What do you mean? It will be easier to explain once you examine it yourself. Alright, so we've already examined it, so let's ask her about some of the stuff we have. Let's see what she says about the blood stain under the body. As a mage from a noble house, you must have gone to school here. Did you know Catherine Bellwether while you were here? Unfortunately, I did. I constantly clash with her over her treatment of the students. One of my biggest regrets is failing to remove her from her position before I graduated. It sounds like many people didn't get along with the professor. I would say more, but it doesn't feel right to speak ill of the dead. Alright, okay, so this mentions the necromancy and illusion magic. Okay, she doesn't have anything to say about the autopsy. Does she know anything about the constructs? Like, has she heard about that? No, she hasn't heard anything about that. The foul classroom smell. She told us about that. Ugh, this rancid smell is really horrible. Yes, I don't blame you for finding it distracting. And it's all because of a mistake during an alchemy experiment. I was surprised too. It's not like the headmaster to make a mistake like that. Interesting. Does she have anything more to say about who discovered the body? Okay, no. Alright, let's see. Is there anything else? There's the map. I don't think she has anything to... I mean, I'll go ahead and see. It's the only thing I haven't said. Yeah, she doesn't have anything to say about that either. Alright. No spells. Profiles. What does she have to say about that? Okay, this is what we've already... she already told us. So, many people didn't get along with her. What else? What about Wallace? What do you have to say about Wallace? Nothing? Okay. I'm sorry, but I don't have much to say about that. What about Eris? Nothing? Okay, she doesn't know Eris either. And I think that's all for now. Because we've already asked her about everything except for our attorney's runestone. Well, we might as well. I mean, I'm just curious if she'll say anything about it. Nope. Okay. Alright, I think that's all that we have now. So, let's see. We want to go talk to the headmaster now. Let's go see what he has to say. Alright, so you follow the map that Steelwind gave you. And you arrive at the headmaster's office. Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting guests today. Sorry for coming unannounced. You must be... My name is Theodore Redmond. I'm the headmaster of the Wyverngard Imperial Academy. Okay, so he's headmaster, he's really, really old, and he is illusion. Suspicious? Sus? Alright, and judging from your appearance, you must be the protege of Ruby Tamura. To what do I owe the pleasure? They must be here to investigate the murder. Wait, Eris? I thought you went to see Wallace. Unfortunately, the Inquisition is questioning him right now. They aren't allowing any visitors. He must be so scared right now. I hope he's okay. Right. She had the same experience not too long ago. Yep, in case one. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. Alright, well first let's examine the room and see what we got. Alright, so this is the fireplace. There is a fireplace with some burning wood. It looks pretty cozy. It's a painting of someone. He looks like some sort of professor. That's Professor Lucas Gilbert. He was an instructor here many decades ago. He was well beloved by the students here, and he was quite the accomplished scholar. And this was all despite him lacking the ability to use magic. He studied magic without being able to use it. He studied magic without actually being able to use it? Yes, he was quite remarkable. Unfortunately, we lost him to illness very early in his life. Alright. It's a small table for guests. Is that wine? No, actually, it's just apple juice. Most of my guests are our students, after all. We got a window up here. There's a window with a view of a garden. The headmaster has a nice view from up here. Alright, another painting. It's a painting of a mage, but he doesn't quite look like a noble. Oh, that's Jason Steelwind, one of the chosen mages of the Scaled Lord. Wait, Steelwind? Hey, I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Uh, Asu Shidaichi? It's probably a big butcher. Welcome in. Sorry if I butchered your name. Wait, Steelwind, as in. Yes, he is the earliest recorded ancestor of House Steelwind. Legends say that the sacred Scale Lord bestowed his power upon him and his allies to create the first mages. Wow, it's hard to even tell that he and the prosecutor belong to the same bloodline. As with all of the noble houses, House Steelwind had quite humble beginnings. If only they'd remember where they came from. Alright, what else do we got to explore here? Wait, is that everything? Let's see if there's any
Imperial
magic.
Arcanum.
Nothing? Alright, so no magic. Alright, so now I guess let's talk to him. Tell me about the murder, sir. This is terrible. To think that one of my prize students would be accused of murder. We heard your voice on the intercom when the lockdown happened. Are you the one who triggered it? Yes, I activated it when I received a call from one of the staff. They reported that Professor Bellwether had been attacked. Okay, so the headmaster activated the Academy's lockdown system in response to receiving a call from security. This call reported that Catherine Bellwether had been fatally wounded. Alright. How does the lockdown system work? It is an artificery network that covers the entire Academy. In the event of an emergency, I can activate it using this stone. The headmaster pulls out a glowing stone from his desk. You can hear the hum of magical energy emanating from it. Once activated, the system creates magical barriers throughout the building. It's designed to contain and protect each room in the building. Could a powerful mage breach any of these barriers? I doubt it. The barriers can withstand a great amount of force. They even block mages from teleporting through them. And once activated, even I can't turn it off for an hour. I see. Okay. So the Academy's lockdown system is an artificery that covers the entire Academy building. Once activated, it creates magical barriers that isolate and protect each room in the building. These barriers can't be breached with physical or magical force, and they also block mages from teleporting through them. Interesting. Alright, now tell me about Wallace. What can you tell me about Wallace? Earlier you said he was one of your prize students. Oh, is he sad now? I just need to understand. Why did the prosecutor say that he was a necromancer? Because technically, he is one. What? But why would he study something like that? Necromancy is probably one of the most dangerous and scrutinized schools of magic. Its image has been long tainted by stories of dark wizards raising armies of the undead. However, it doesn't just control the forces of death, it also controls the forces of life. Forces of life? And the truth is that healing magic is also classified as necromancy. Most healers don't care to admit it because of the stigma it has. But that's why Wallace is studying it. He wants to become a doctor. But there are plenty of mages who know healing magic. Why is Wallace being singled out? For years, he's been studying necromancy beyond basic healing magic. He believes that high-level necromancy could revolutionize modern medicine. Unfortunately, many among the faculty don't see it that way. Wallace doesn't hail from a noble house. He's a mage that was born among the common folk. He's like me. Many of the faculty fear that he'll use his knowledge to raise armies of undead, just like the necromancers of old. The Imperial Academy isn't even permitted to teach it to students beyond basic healing magic. And why did you allow him to study it? After everything that has happened to him, I made an exception. Everything that has happened to him? I'm not at liberty to say more. You'll have to ask him if you wish to know more. Okay. What about his spell compendium? If you plan on defending Wallace, You'll need his spell compendium, am I correct? Yes, having a client's compendium is instrumental to acquitting them. You may find that a bit difficult. You see, after a certain incident, he destroyed his compendium. What? Why would he do that? Doesn't he need that to use magic? A spell compendium is a device mages use to keep track of what spells they can cast. It's really convenient for remembering the formulas and incantations of your spells, but it's not actually required to use magic. I thought of destroying mine a long time ago, but they're really expensive. Luckily, I have an unattuned spell compendium right here. I'd be more than happy to give it to you if it helps Wallace. Oh, thanks. Wallace just needs to maintain physical contact with it for 10 minutes. After that, the compendium will attune to his magic. Just make sure that you don't let another mage like Celeste hold it. Once it attunes to a mage, no one else can use it. How were you holding it? An unattuned spell compendium. If a mage keeps this on their person for 10 minutes, it will attune to their magic and display what spells they can cast. Once it attunes to a person, it can't attune to anyone else. Exactly, that's what I was just asking. I don't understand what this glitching is about. I hope this is part of the case and not a bug in the case. But it just said, wait, how did you? And that's exactly what I was asking. How did you hold it if it has to be on your person for 10 minutes? Anyways, wonderful. I just hope you can persuade Wallace to attune to it. Suspicious? Alright, Catherine Bellwether. What can you tell me about Catherine Bellwether? Uh-oh. Fear, sadness, and anger. Wow, that was a whole mess of emotions. She was rather unpleasant to work with. Can you think of any enemies she might have had? You might as well list everyone who attended this school. Eris. It's best to be blunt with these sorts of things. As you saw yesterday, she had a pretty abrasive attitude toward the students. Many people in this school did not care for her. Maybe she wasn't the nicest person. But would that really be enough to motivate someone to murder her? She'd often target and harass students, especially those who were from the common folk. She even made a habit of expelling those students for minor infractions. For commoners, magic can be our ticket out of poverty. I can't imagine how it'd feel to have that opportunity unfairly taken from you. She put so much pressure on those students, some of them even left the academy of their own volition. They couldn't handle her constant verbal abuse. Even then, would that really be enough motive to commit murder? The human psyche is a fragile thing. It's astounding what someone might do when pushed far enough. What about her relationship with the faculty? In some cases, it was worse than it was with the students. She'd often treat the staff like her personal servants. I've received many complaints from them about her behavior. Sorry if this sounds rude, but why didn't you just fire her if she was such a big problem? Exactly, that's what I'm wondering. She's used her position to curry favor with the noble houses over the years. As you can imagine, the Academy's board is controlled by the nobility. If I ever tried to remove her, they would probably support her over me. I see. Alright, so Catherine Bellwether had a tense relationship with just about everyone in the Academy. She had a history of bullying students from the common folk and mistreating the Academy staff. For several years, she used her position to curry favor with the noble houses. Alright? Anything else? How about the meeting? What's the meeting? I heard that you had a meeting scheduled with Professor Bellwether this morning. That's right. What time was this? And when did the meeting end? Our meeting was scheduled for noon. She arrived on time and our meeting lasted until 1 p.m. Did anything seem off about her to you? No, she seemed her usual self. Uh-oh, fear? What are you afraid about there? You detect a trace of fear, or is it nervousness? If you don't mind my asking, what was the purpose of your meeting? We met to discuss routine administrative matters. Despite our personal disagreements, we knew to stay civil when discussing professional affairs. Again, but to be perfectly honest, it did always feel like I was treading on eggshells when speaking with her. You don't seem very secure in your position, sir. Did she have a hold over you, I wonder? But you were her superior, weren't you? Didn't she respect your authority? We had many arguments about how I was managing the academy. She was very vocal about her distaste for the common folk students. She was difficult, to say the least. Alright. Let's see, is there anything we can present to her? I mean, you already told us about this. Okay, he's not gonna say, I've learned a lot of my, yeah, okay, so he's not gonna say anything about that. I want to see what he says about this. Nothing, okay, he's not gonna say anything about that either. Well, poop. Oh, can you tell me about these arcane constructs? That was something we wanted to know. Nothing? You're not gonna tell me anything about that? Oh, this. How about when you messed up, your foul classroom smell? Alright, so Steelwind told us that you had a bit of a mishap in Lecture Hall 2B. Yes. I was filling in for the alchemy instructor when I accidentally misread the instructions she left. I'm quite embarrassed to admit that my old age is catching up with me. Alright, I want to see this map. Library, headmaster's office, kitchen, lecture hall, 2B. So this is where she was killed. And it's not... I mean, this is where we were, was the library. I don't know. It could have been the kitchen stuff. Like, there's all kinds of possibilities here. Alright, what else? Spells, profiles. What about Eris? Did you know Eris is one of our top students in the study of illusion magic? Thank you, Headmaster. I appreciate your praise. Why do you study illusion magic, Eris? Oh, no particular reason. I just happen to have an affinity. It's also quite enjoyable to use my magic to deceive people. Are you really guilty? Are you sus? What can you tell me about Wallace? Earlier you said that he was one of your... Oh, we already read this? One of his prize students. Okay, so we already know about Wallace. We already went through this. I wish we could skip it when we accidentally get double information. Because sometimes you can get, like, questions that'll give you an answer, and then also presenting evidence will give you the same answer. And there's, like, I'm not finding a way to just skip past the whole conversation. Alright. I think he mentioned Miss Tamora. Let's see if he knows anything about it. Miss Tamora mentioned that you gave us permission to use the library. I can't thank you enough for that. We learned a lot. Of course, I'm always willing to aid the younger generation in the pursuit of knowledge. How do you know Miss Tamora anyways? That's... okay. Oh, did she defend him in a court case? From his reaction, it must have been a hard time in his life. It'd be best not to pry further. Interesting. Alright, what about Arya Stillman? Do you know her? Have you met the prosecutor, Mr. Redmond? I am already well acquainted with her. Oh, he doesn't like her? She was once a student here. Oh, right, she is a noble. It makes sense that she'd go to school here. Alright, was there anything else? We've already asked... We already know what his opinions of her are. Okay, I think that might be it then. So, why don't we next go to the kitchen? Hello? Is anyone there? Be right there! Sorry, but the cafeteria is closed right now. Actually, we're here to investigate the murder. We heard that 2 members of the kitchen staff discovered the body. Oh, that would be me. I I'm Valentina, Ionis. Alright. How about the other person? Do you know where they are right now? Oh, that would be my sister Valerie. But I think she's somewhere else on campus right now. If you're with those knights, we've already told them everything we know. Actually, we're investigating separately from them. I wanted to ask you some questions about what you saw. Sure. Ugh, I'm gonna have to remember those details again. Why do you have to remember if it's the truth? That's suspicious. You'd like to take a look around the kitchen, but Valentina looks a bit anxious. Snooping around might scare her off. You should learn everything you can from her before you examine the kitchen. Alright. So, what did you see? To start, can you tell us how you and your sister discovered the body? Right. My sister and I, we were walking in the hallway from the kitchen to the west exit. We spotted the professor in a nearby classroom. She was lying on the floor and bleeding. I used emergency communication device to call for help. While I was doing that, my sister tried to wake her up. That would imply that Valerie thought that she could be resuscitated. Did she know if the professor was still alive or not? We're not sure, but she wasn't responding at all. She wasn't breathing, and she didn't have a pulse. Alright, tell me about Wallace? What do you know about the suspect in this case? His name is Wallace Nightgrave. He's a student here. He's that scary kid, right? Scary kid, what? The one that raises undead? Those are just rumors. He would never do something like that. But he studies necromancy, right? Have you ever actually met him? No, but I've heard the rumors. He's always hanging around the cemetery. I'm sure he's just biding his time, waiting for his chance to raise an army. It can't be helped that people think of him that way. But you can't help but be a little annoyed on his behalf, I agree. Alright, what about Catherine Bellwether? What can you tell me about Catherine Bellwether? She's afraid, angry, and sad. Yet another set of complicated emotions. Well, I guess there's no point in hiding it anymore. She was a horrible person. She was really terrible to all of us. By all of us, do you mean the Academy staff? Yeah, she always treated us like her personal servants. Sometimes she'd make messes on purpose just so she could order us to clean it up. I'd make me mad too. And this probably sounds terrible, but I'm sure a lot of people are glad that she's gone. I just hope we can still keep our jobs. Interesting. Now, why would she be worried about that? That does make me wonder. Did you ever feel like your job was at risk because of Bellwether? Yes, actually. She was actually planning to fire all of the staff. All of the staff? That can't be true, can it? The Academy needs a staff to function. I'm not sure about the details. That's just what Jan told us. Who's Jan? He's one of the Academy's custodians. You can probably find him cleaning the halls if you look around. Okay. Is there any other evidence that we can give to her? Let's see. Let's see what she says. Will she tell us anything about that? No. Okay, nothing for that. What about the smell? Nope, she can't tell us anything about that. Okay, what about her reputation? Can you tell us anything about that? Nope. Alright. What about Eris? Can you tell us about Eris? Do you know Eris Ilmater? Ah, she's even scarier than that necromancer. What? I've heard rumors about her, you know. There's just something about her that fills me with dread every time I see her. Have you actually spoken to her before? She's a nice person. No, thanks, I'm good. I mean, I'm suspicious too, so, I mean, I'm not afraid of her, but what about the headmaster? What can you tell me about the headmaster? Oh, he's a really nice person. We would have never gotten a job here if it weren't for him. Really? Yeah, he has connections with the local community center. He hires people from the common folk there to work at the academy. So the headmaster is all for the common folk and like kind of that legacy of that the heroes in his office had of the common folk can be mages too. And then Catherine, that was her name, Catherine Bellwether, yeah. She's just like, no commoners at all. Alright, what can you tell me about this? This was how they, okay. Nothing more to add about that. What about the lockdown system? Anything she can tell me about that? No. Alright. Anything about the map? No. And any profiles? We already asked about that. Has she talked to Arya yet? Nope, nothing to say about that. Well, she did mention the knight, so maybe she talked to him? No. Alright. I think that might be it then. Unless she knows Miss Tamora. Nope. Alright. Let's go ahead and examine. Celeste, this room was close to the crime scene. Could you cast Detect Magic and scan for magical traces? Sure. Did he just say scan for magical traces? Uh-oh, she's afraid. Are you hiding something? Oh, I'll just get out of your way then. Wow, she just bolted out of the room. What was that about? Exactly? That's what I'm wondering. There's a large cooking station here. They must prepare meals in bulk here. Alright, some bread. Oh, it's a plate of bread. They probably serve these as sides to the entrees. Don't get any ideas, Tyrion. What? Remember when we went to that fancy restaurant? You just kept ordering breadsticks and butter. The bread is free. I might as well take advantage of it. You know eating that many carbs isn't good for you. Yeah. Alright, what's in the barrels? It's a barrel full of some sort of drink. I wonder. It's probably not lotus juice, Celeste. That's her favorite drink. Several commonly used ingredients are close to the cooking area. What do we got there? It looks like peppers and garlic, onions maybe, some kind of herbs, flowers and stuff. Cooking implements. There's a rack of cooking implements hanging from the wall. Valentina must use these to cook for the students. Alright. Pots. It's a set of pots for cooking soups and the like. There's a large sack of produce in the corner. There's some wine here too. That must be for the professors. They must serve the students' meals on these plates. It's a shame they had to close the kitchen due to the investigation. Alright, now let's detect magic.
Imperio Arcanum.
Nothing? There's literally nothing. I mean, there's literally nothing. Why was she so nervous? I don't understand. Is she just afraid of all magic? Is that what's going on here? Yeah, I don't get it. Alright, so the last place to go, I think for now, well, we got the foyer, we got the hallway, and we got the barracks that we can still explore. But I think we're going to do that in the next episode. I feel like we're probably about 2/3 of the way through the investigation before the trial. That's kind of like my feeling on where we're sort of getting an idea. I don't actually have a suspect yet. I mean, so Eris is suspicious. She specifically pointed out that she couldn't turn invisible, but then the headmaster also is illusion. Maybe he can. He's a lot older. So maybe one of them turned invisible and that's why she didn't see them. I don't know what the necromancy magic is all about. Maybe we'll get some more information when we talk to Wallace. And maybe, I don't know. We'll find out some more information about it. But so I don't know. Those are like my two suspects right now because they're both like way too nice. I don't know. It just seems, but then also the kitchen staff, like why were they acting hyperactive when they were being questioned? Doesn't really make sense. So I think we'll have to figure what that all is about. But we will do that in the next episode. So if you enjoy this type of content, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe and follow all that good stuff. And if you want to watch it live on Twitch, it is on twitch.tv/Liar27. I have my schedule posted in the About section. And I also post what games I'm going to plan to play that day on Twitter, twitter.com/Liar27 also. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, guys, I will see you later. Bye.